plays Missouri on Friday. Game's at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, in case you missed one of the 37 emails I've sent. SEC Network Plus with Kay Abels and Kathy DeBoer. Just two other program announcements. Madison Lily's the finalist for the James E. Sullivan Award. Voting runs to the 27th. Also at 2 o'clock this afternoon, Avery Skinner was named NCAA finalist for Woman of the Year. She's into the final 30. That winner will be announced on November the 9th. And then one other thing that I wanted to mention is tomorrow will begin the introduction of a new rule in the SEC that we are experimenting with on behalf of the NCAA with the challenge system. Each team will receive 2 challenges at the beginning of each match, but if you do win the challenge, you keep the challenge for the remainder of the match. So it's not 3, no matter if you win or lose. It's 2 challenges, and you win the challenge, you keep the challenge. If the match goes to a 5th set, you get 1 additional challenge, and that will take place for all Southeastern Conference matches this year across the league. So every school is participating in this as a NCAA experimental role. So we'll turn it over to Coach to talk about Missouri and questions from there.
Glad you regurgitated that, Chris. I probably forgot.
Happy to.
No, I'm excited about starting the league season, and we're going to definitely be a competitive year this year with the teams, the way they perform the pre-conference. And Missouri's rebuilding a little bit, but have some great athletic pieces, and going to be a good challenge for us to get going. So looking forward to tomorrow night.
I guess this time just a natural, transition point, non-conference to conference. You've spoken a lot about the youth and the growth and all that stuff, but Big Ten matches going into the meat of the schedule now. Just your assessment of how a young team has grown and shown you stuff over the first 10 matches.
Yeah, things are starting to slow down. I think for our players in the middle of the matches, we're starting to make clear decisions about what shot to hit and who to set, and whose ball is what, on the seams. So that takes a long time to kind of work out, especially when you have, some of the younger players. We do, our connection offensively, hitting over 300 against Stanford, almost 15 kills a set is, as a staff, we were pretty impressed with. Blocking wise, we've got to get better. Our block numbers are not where they need to be. That's probably the hardest skill to teach outside of serve receive, so it's going to take some time, but we're definitely making progress and heading in the right direction.
You mentioned the 300 hitting against Stanford, so I was looking back through all 7 of the wins you guys have hit 300 or better, all 3 of the losses 200 or worse. It's like no secret, you hit every chance to win. Is that something in any way that there's like a target number you try and have your players reach, like a benchmark thing, or just kind of what happens in matches with that?
Yeah, my position is a little bit different. Middles typically hit for higher percentage than outside hitters. And so, when you look at 25 points in a set, you can score points 3 ways. You can score points with a kill, you can score points with a serving ace, you can score points with a block. And you typically want to kill the ball at least 14 times. You want to have, 2 to 3 blocks. You want to have 1 to 2 aces, and then you rely on the opponent to give you, a few points by hitting errors or serving errors or whatever it may be. So we need to be killing the ball 14 or 15 times a game. We need to be blocking closer to 3. So those are kind of some stats we look at. Error percentage, you don't want to be higher than, if you want to compete with the best teams in the country, you don't want to error over 12 or 13%. So we've erred, more often than not. Some of that is by opponents blocking. But if you're hitting over 300 consistently, you're one of the better offensive teams in the country.
Both the matches for Stanford were roller coaster, 5 sets. What do you think is different against Stanford, where you're able to finish it off, versus Louisville, where you allowed last set and 8 points to go to them?
Yeah. I just think the rhythm offensively was much better. We had better ball control at the end with our serve receive. Emma had some great connections with our attackers, and then obviously, Maddie and Allie put a bunch of balls away, in the 5th set, for us to be successful. So it's a growing process. I mean, our team had never been in a 5th set prior to Louisville. This year's team, but then also the freshmen have never been in it. So you have to feel what that's like and be able to execute. And that was a piece of it. But we also had great practices. I mean, we did not practice well before Louisville. It was not a good 2 days. Just wasn't good. People weren't executing the way we normally do. The energy wasn't where it needed, which was probably on me to make sure it's better. But prior to Stanford, there was a lot more, a lot more, rhythm to our practices.
What are some of those things that you can do to put that energy into practice that translate into the game?
there probably needs to be a little bit more urgency from me to demand it, you know, from them. I take responsibility for us not being ready to go against Louisville. But also a sense of urgency from our players that now understand it's not real easy to win. You gotta train like you're a champion. And so we're learning by fire, you know, already playing as many good teams as we have. You know, it's a grind. I mean, it's physically, mentally tough to go through pre-conference where you're playing 10 matches in the span of 3 weeks.
Maddie has become suddenly just a force offensively. We knew that she had it in her. What has brought that out in her?
Well, she's, you know, learning also. I mean, she played right side pretty much the whole year. She's hitting on the left side of the net this year, the majority of the time. And, you know, she's someone that is eager to learn and wants to be really good at everything. And so as she goes through each match and gets more experience, get more reps, she starts to add layers of belief and confidence. And, you know, when you try a shot one time and it doesn't work, you know, are you willing to try it again? And she's willing to try it again, and so it's paid off, and she's willing to take those risks. But we're equally as impressed with her defense and her passing. Her receiving defense, I think she's had a couple double-doubles. And for someone that hasn't played all the way around yet to her college career, except for the last 3 matches, it's a pretty impressive thing to do.
Given your expectations heading into the season, are you satisfied with how the non-conference slate went?
You know, you're never happy when you lose a match, you know, so there's certainly things that I learned as a coach, our players learned that we could have done better going into a couple of those matches. At the same time, even if we would have done those things, do we win on the road against 2 top 5 teams? I don't, you know, but I know I'm very satisfied that we've improved a lot, and that's technically your goal. I mean, you want to be playing your best volleyball at the end of November going into the NCAA tournament. If we continue on this track of improvement, then we'll look back on this pre-conference and say we got a lot out of it.
So do you think by the end of the season you can be as good as those top 5 teams and go and
Yes.
constantly compete them?
Yes.
You kind of mentioned the end of November there. I guess just based on the way the league has gone the past couple of years and the shaping of this year, it's hard not to, you know, kind of have that last 2 games here against Florida kind of catch your eye. What do you guys have to do to be at a level where those 2 matches you're either in the thick of it to win the title, or maybe you've already won the title against, you know, the only other top 25 SEC team right now?
Do you want me to give an elaborate answer or a simple answer? We got to be our best today. I mean, you can never get ahead of yourself in a conference schedule, because if you do, if you think you've won, you've lost. Is basically, and probably another thing a term that we've been using lately is do simple better. We got to do the simple things better than we have been, so that we're more consistent. We're more consistent under pressure, and we execute at a higher level.
What player do you think's improved the most from the start of the season to right now?
I couldn't give you one. I mean, I'm not just saying that for coach speak, because I could tell you that Maddie Skinner's improved a lot. I could tell you that Emma Grove's improved a lot. I can tell you Lauren Tharp has improved a lot. I can tell you that Allie Stemler is doing things that she hasn't done before, even though she wishes she was playing better. I can tell you that Johnny Teeler offensively against Stanford was the best match of the year so far, so you can say she's gotten better. There's just too many of them to say one.
It's not to pick one out from that bunch, but looking at what Eleanor's done as a freshman this season,
It's another one.
what is your assessment been of the way she's, I guess, in a similar way to Emma, obviously just kind of come in, but had to take on a lot of responsibility and do it at a high level so far?
Yeah, libero may be the hardest position to play as a freshman, even if you talk about setter. I mean, because it's so much harder to serve receive in college and club and high school. Decision making is so fast, the balls hit so much harder, attacking wise to dig. Probably most impressed with her composure. You know, you never know if Eleanor's having a good day or a bad day. She's always the same. And I think that's reassuring to the people next to her playing defense and serve receiving, that I know exactly what I'm going to get from Eleanor right now. So her mental ability to be composed at all times is probably the thing I'm most impressed with.
Anything else? Yeah. Good deal. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.